Welcome back to AI, the Somnium files. Last time, yeah, murders happened. Ota and Iris are dead. We're going to investigate places. I stepped into the cold storage warehouse. The air conditioning wasn't running, but it was still cold. The temperature hadn't risen much at all. The cold air sank into my skin, but the center of my body was burning hot. Police officer, any progress?
I checked this place point by point, but didn't find nothing.
Didn't you say that last time? So I guess Mayumi wasn't here this time.
A video camera and laptop. This is what the criminal used to stream.
Dots.
All of these items have been bought from pawn shops and thrift stores. It would be difficult to determine a suspect from them. I have logged into the Wi-Fi in this warehouse. Okiura Fishery Co., Ltd. is listed as the owner. However, I found the password written directly on the router. Anyone who saw it could have used it. I have done some research. As the name suggests, the company is owned by the Okiuras. The same Okiuras we know. Renju's father created the company.
Another connection to Renju.
No, actually. Currently, Okiura Fishery has nothing to do with Renju.
I think it's still a connection, no.
The company has been managed by office representatives for the past 17 years after Renju's father died. Renju holds no shares and is not involved in the management. In short, Renju did not inherit the company from his father, and it was instead given to other persons.
But it can't be a coincidence.
It certainly is suspicious. This forklift is old. It does not appear to be functional. It has not been moved in some time. There are only a few items on the shelf.
Is this warehouse not in use?
So I wonder, last time we checked this and we moved forward. Let's talk to Kagami first. The inspector is doing his duties as usual. Any clues?
No, nothing so far.
Oh, no funny stuff with him this time. Is this Ota's blood? Yes. Iris and Ota were sliced into by this ice-cutting machine. Iris and Ota.
Iris's estimated time of death and cause of death have been confirmed. The video was not a recording. It was a live stream, filmed in real time.
Which means Iris's time of death is 3:20 a.m.
Iris also had her left eye removed.
Yeah.
And like Renju and Shoko, Iris's left eyeball has not been recovered.
Right here. Iris and Ota were.
I am sure you are already aware of Ota's time of death.
Just before I arrived. About 3:30 in the morning.
And the cause of death.
Right. About that. Ota had a stab wound from a kitchen knife in his side.
Correct.
What was the exact cause of death? Was it the knife wound or...
I cannot determine that.
Probably the machine, since he was alive in the... Well, things could have played differently. I shouldn't assume just because how things happened in in another timeline that they worked out similarly here.
I can conclude that the knife wound was at least close to being fatal. Even if Ota was still alive on the workbench, he was certainly on the verge of death. If he weren't already extremely weak, we would expect to see more signs of struggle.
Maybe Ota was trying to help Iris, jumping at the criminal. That led to a scuffle and Ota ended up with a knife wound in his side. He lost all his power to fight back. He was forcibly put inside the costume and then finally cut open by the ice-cutting machine.
But why? Why did the culprit put the costume on Ota?
To make him seem like the Iris's killer.
Unknown.
Yes. Pretty risky though, since
Date, we should get moving.
it could leave some evidence behind from the suit.
Officers from the local jurisdiction are checking the warehouse thoroughly. We will not find anything of importance here.
Yeah, you're right.
You can ask CSI to inform you if they find anything.
All right.
Yeah. Wait. Oh. Now we can talk to you. I'm heading out. Let me know if you find anything. I let them know, then left the warehouse. When I left the warehouse, I saw Peter. What is he doing here, there? He walked up to me while I was trying to work it out.
Date, I have to talk to you about something.
Huh?
About the original Cyclops serial killings.
Dots.
Why this all of a sudden?
Because I want you to solve this case, Mr. Date. I want you to find who did this and bring them to justice. So, if I can help you, even a little...
Why didn't you say anything at Abyss?
The boss was there. I couldn't speak openly in front of her.
She was being very tight-lipped about the past case.
So, I decided to meet you here.
Dots.
All right. Let's hear it.
Earlier, I told you that I was completely certain the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes. I am absolutely certain the original Cyclops killer could not have committed these crimes. Let me explain why. I'll start by telling you the identity of the Cyclops killer. Although, it's more accurate to say killers.
More than one?
In the first series of killings, the culprit had an accomplice.
Would explain the two people we saw in the Somnium.
One of them was born a murderous psychopath. The other is Rohan Kumakura, the previous chairman of the Kumakuras.
What does that even mean? One of them was born a murderous psychopath. Did we have Rohan's thingy here? Yeah. Committed suicide 1 year ago. Dots.
They each had a role to play. The murderer committed the homicide, and Rohan removed the eyeball.
So if the old one had an accomplice, the new one might have one too. Though I have been considering it pretty much all this time. This is policeman. This is policeman one. Yeah, let's leave the murderous psychopath for last, since it seems to be the more shocking one. Peter looks grimly serious. About Rohan.
18 years ago, Rohan took a woman's eye.
18 years old.
She was already dead. He put his finger into her eye socket and gouged it out. The reason why was simple. He was fascinated by women's eyes. Their beauty stimulated his greed and his desire to possess them. He needed to have them, to make them his own. Driven by this instinctive impulse, he took the woman's eye. From then on, he acquired a grotesque obsession with the eyes of dead women. He was very particular about his need that the eye belonged to a deceased woman.
And in this current case, it was taken from alive victims.
But even being the head of a Yakuza gang, there weren't too many opportunities for him to indulge. His deepest, darkest desire went unfulfilled for years. However, he soon met his ideal partner.
How was he outside of prison then? I guess the classification has something to do.
The aforementioned psychopath. The Cyclops killer would commit the murder, and Rohan would take the eye. Thus, a mutually beneficial relationship was established. This was the origin of the Cyclops serial killings. At about the same time, you were assigned to Abyss.
Why did the Cyclops case get classified?
That, I don't know.
The details of the original Cyclops serial killings case have become nebulous over time. Even the official investigation material contains nothing of value. I am unable to draw any conclusions from them.
You really have no idea?
If I did, I would tell you.
Who is the murderous psychopath?
He was born with a brain dysfunction. Due to damage to the posterior pituitary gland, he was unable to properly secrete oxytocin.
Oxytocin is a peptide hormone linked to feelings of love, affection, and trust. It is colloquially referred to as the love hormone. It causes a tranquilizing effect which improves mood and relieves stress. It is normally secreted when the body makes contact with an object of affection, such as an embrace or caress.
I'm sure you know what this implies, but he was unable to feel love in the way that we do. However, he was able to experience a substitute. His brain was wired in such a way that allowed him to feel satisfaction through other means. Due to the unique idiosyncrasies of his brain, he was able to release large amounts of dopamine and endorphins by performing a certain action.
Killing?
What was it?
Dots.
Murder.
Dopamine is a hormone linked to the reward system of the brain. The pleasant feeling attained through accomplishment is dopamine. Endorphins are a kind of brain narcotic. They dull pain and create a feeling of happiness.
He got pleasure from killing people?
It's slightly more complicated than that. Killing people was the only way he could get pleasure.
Dots.
He was 12 when he took his first life.
12.
That enlightened him to the pleasure of murder, which he would do again and again.
You seem to know a lot about this murderous psychopath. Summarize.
The original Cyclops killer had an accomplice,
There were 2 Cyclops killers.
and one of them was the former chairman of the Kumakuras, Rohan Kumakura.
Rohan committed suicide by jumping to his death 1 year ago.
That means... Pewter, tell me this. One of the original killers is dead, I know that. But that means one remains. Who is he?
After his fourth murder, he was arrested by the police.
Wait. If he was 12... How long were these murders taking place? Like how long a time period?
They actually picked him up on other charges. But, in any case, he is currently serving a life sentence in Fuchu prison.
Is that the number 89?
Fuchu prison?
Yes.
What's his name?
Dots.
In prison, he doesn't have a name. He is simply called Number 89.
Number 89?
I know who killed Shogun Adami.
Dots.
So, now you know why I said that. That the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes. Because one is dead, and the other is behind bars. Neither of them had the opportunity.
And then we just leave. Matsushi the diner. Like, I don't really trust Pewter. So, I have to take what he said with a grain of salt. And why wouldn't you say this in front of boss? Unless the guy who is in prison is somehow connected to her. Yeah, I would like someone who would confirm what Peter said. That someone else would confirm it for us. Matsushi the diner Monday. And it's very suspicious that the Rohan guy would just commit suicide randomly 1 year ago. If he was outside, don't think he would be feeling guilty if he has taken ice his whole life. The place was silent. It was so quiet I felt like I could hear the floating dust. I stepped inside. I thought it was empty, but I saw a shadow in the corner of my eye. It was Mayumi. It was like watching a decaying old tree cling pathetically to the earth. Yeah, let's not check out stuff. She's looking at photographs in her hand. I'm sorry to interrupt. Dots. About Ota. Dots. Do we want to talk about it? Dots.
This is your fault. I heard from the police.
Yeah, it's Date's fault to get stunned, can't?
Because you didn't take care of Iris. My boy Ota got involved.
Date, I looked into the investigation report. Mayumi confirmed Ota's body early this morning.
I see.
I'm sorry. I want to be alone right now.
Dots.
Did you not hear me? I said leave!
Date, let's go. She is in no state to talk.
Yeah, you're right.
Oof. Daughter residence. Mizuki is curled up on the sofa. This seems to be like the world's worst timeline for everyone. She looked like a small animal frightened by a predator. Mizuki is staring at the floor. About Iris. Dots, dots, dots. About autumn. Dots, dots, dots. Dots, dots, dots.
Mizuki must know about Iris and Ota.
Of course, the news was distributed heavily across the internet, not just in Japan, but worldwide.
Dots.
3 days ago, Mizuki discovered her mother's body. 2 days ago, her father's. This morning, 2 of her best friends. It is completely understandable that she is at her mental limit.
Dots,
Can I be left alone for a while?
dots, dots.
Are you okay?
Dots, dots.
Yeah.
She certainly didn't seem so. But I can't stay by her side forever.
Iba, contact Abyss. See if they can get Mizuki a good counselor.
Understood.
I stayed with her for a little while, but we didn't speak. Having nothing more to say, I left. Wonder if there's anything interesting. Yeah. Sagan residence. Actually, let's leave it that for last. Let's go to Marble first. I'm curious to hear what the Iris's mother wants to say.
Are you okay, honey?
Huh?
About last night. Well, at 3 in the morning, anyway.
You know about it?
It's on every channel.
That's
You have the face of a ghost. Do you want a glass?
I don't need a drink. I need information. Do you have anything?
Well, let's see. I do have... I suppose you could call it intuition.
Tell me.
information about the incident.
The Kumakuras are involved in this case. Remember what I told you before? That there's a relationship between Ren and the Kumakuras? Shoko also has a relationship with them. You know about her dealings with the Kumakuras, right?
So basically, 2 of the victims are linked to the Kumakuras. That must mean they're involved somehow, right?
Not 2, 3.
Iris?
3? Iris?
No, not that one. The boy.
The boy?
He came here last night?
Ota?
Yes, from Matsushita Diner. He's linked to the Kumakuras as well.
How is Ota related to Kumakuras?
Have you heard the rumor?
Mama told me a similar story to Iva's. About Sejima and the Kabasaki districts. Oh yeah. The basic idea is this. 8 years ago, So sold his land in the Kabasaki district for 30 billion yen. Half a year later, an explosion at the chemical plant caused land prices to drop drastically. So bought back the land for 1 billion yen. Almost like he knew beforehand that the accident would happen. Did So blow it up or conspire to blow it up? No, that wouldn't make sense. So wouldn't gain anything from that. He would end up with 29 billion in cash and 1 billion in land. It's a net zero. But there's more to the story. About So and the Kabasaki districts.
The Kumakuras own a handful of real estate companies. They of course look legit, but they're Yakuza fronts. I'll call those real estate companies the KE to keep it simple for you.
Okay.
The KE followed in So's footsteps. They bought up land in Kabasaki. Now, back to So. Have you heard of the plans for the casino in Kabasaki? So was the one who came up with it.
I was born and raised in Kabasaki. I remember the landscape of my childhood, and I loved it dearly. But look at Kabasaki now. When I see images of the destruction on television, my heart aches like it's being chopped to pieces. But I promise you, I will revive the Kabasaki district at any cost. Casino Town Kabasaki will give new life to the city.
After that, So moved fast. He submitted the bills he needed to the National Assembly after drumming up support in the right places. The bills passed, and it became an official government initiative.
Decontamination efforts therefore increased at a rapid pace in the Kabasaki district. At the moment, the area is still considered off-limit. However, the air in Kabasaki is currently purified to such an extent that it has no negative effect on the human body.
If the plan goes smoothly, land prices in Kabasaki are going to skyrocket. And all that land is owned by the KE. And by So himself. The land he bought back for 1 billion will be worth 10 times that soon.
It seems like the real killer wants to make Tsushima look like the either look bad or look like the killer. Because they are killing people who so might have a motive to murder.
He's involved in some shady business.
Like if So was the killer, why would she have the body of the woman Shoko, who is connected to the same Yakuza group that he is, be tied up in a fucking carousel in a place he owns, basically, and wants to make a big casino city. I don't think that would raise the value of his land.
This is just another rumor, but the chemical plant exploding was no accident. It was done intentionally.
By So and the Kumakuras, you mean?
But there's no hard evidence of that. It's just gossip.
What about Ota and the Kumakuras?
What were we talking about again?
Ota and the Kumakuras.
Oh, right. You know how Matsushita Diner is close to the Kabasaki district? The chemical plant explosion made times hard. Foot traffic went down, sales declined. No wonder it closed down. Ota must hold a grudge. Someone caused that explosion. And if it was intentional, oh, he'd hate them even more. That's how I link Ota to the Kumakuras.
Thank you, Mama. I don't know if what you told me will lead to anything, but...
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to waste your time.
No, it was very helpful.
I'm glad I can help, even if it's just a little.
Well then, be seeing you.
Come back anytime.
So, Iris' mother, will he talk to us? She talk to us? When I visited the Sagan household, I found Hitomi with a hollow look in her eyes. She let me in and asked me to sit on the sofa. I agreed and sat down. But after that, I couldn't say a single word. The heavy silence weighed on the both of us. on both of us.
In the language of flowers, the iris means good news and hope. When I saw the flowers this morning, I just knew something good would happen.
That's
Iris.
the drawings we saw in the Somnium. I guess it was there. The previous route we took in the Iris Somnium were similar to this. Looked similar. I'm looking around because there might be some kind of information in here. Nope. Tommy's composed. She's hiding her sorrow deep in her heart. She's gentle but strong. About Iris.
Iris was my everything. We always went everywhere together, whether it was buying clothes or going to the movies or taking a walk or going shopping at the supermarket.
That's
When she was young, she would just hold one of my fingers. Her hand was too small to hold mine. Then it was 2, then 3. And finally she could hold my hand. But eventually, she left my hands altogether. She started crossing her arms, being independent.
yeah. Skips dots.
Even though she needed constant attention growing up.
About Iris.
Her memories are a part of this room. And always will be. When she was a baby, she fell off that sofa and cried and cried. One day she tore up her picture book all over the floor here. Another time, she drew with crayons all over the window. She painted my portrait on Mother's Day. Scratches on the floor, chipped plates, burn marks on the table, stains on the cushions. Everything you see. It all holds a memory of her. But why?
About Ota.
Oda was one of my students.
Yeah.
I taught him in elementary school.
Was that said before? That's
I heard it from the police. Oda tried to help Iris and ended up...
That's
I don't know what to say. I have no words.
Can you think of any information?
Hitomi, my entire focus is on this case. Is there anything at all you can tell me?
That's
I don't know if this is important, but
No, please. Tell me.
I may have told you this already. I met Renju's wife Shoko twice before. The first time at the wedding, the second time a month ago. That second time was in the waiting room of the prison.
Prison?
There's an acquaintance of mine from when we were younger.
So I guess the 89 is father of Iris. I'm still wondering about the flashback from Data where he was with Iris. Like how would that play into things then?
I visit them a few times a year. By coincidence, I saw Shoko. I don't think she noticed me, but I recognized her as Renju's wife right away. She was there for the same reason I was, to visit one of the inmates.
Do you know who?
No, I don't. We didn't talk.
Which prison?
Fuchu.
Fuchu Prison, in Tokyo.
Fuchu.
Prison?
In Tokyo. Dots.
I'm sorry to have bothered you.
Dots.
I'll be going now.
I don't know what to do. Thinking about her. Dante, please, you have to catch them. Please. Please.
I will. Trust me.
Police headquarters, Monday, 4:57 p.m. I returned, but we will end the episode here after we have looked at the appendix. KE Association, Kumakura Estates. The name Mama gives to the real estate companies under the Kumakura umbrella. Endorphins, endogenous morphine released in the brain, relieves pain, calms nerves, and creates a feeling of euphoria. Totally unrelated to dolphins. Kabasaki District. Sojima currently resides in Asabu. However, he is currently not running for office in the Minato district where Asabu is located, but instead in the Kabasaki district where he was born and raised. Candidates are allowed to run for any constituency, regardless of where they live. Dopamine, one of the neurotransmitters present in the central nervous system, involved with pleasant feelings, motivation, and learning new information. Posterior pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is part of the endocrine system that hangs on the lower part of the brain. Not to be confused with the anterior pituitary. Primarily secretes oxytocin. Peptide hormone. A hormone with a peptide bond. A peptide bond is a bond that occurs when carboxyl group of a molecule COOH reacts with the amino group of another molecule NH2, which generates water H2O. It has nothing to do with energetic diets. So yeah, everyone is sad in this timeline. For a reason, of course. Next time we might get some prison-related stuff, since that seems to be our only lead at the moment. Or something related to Tsushima. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.